Hello, this is Aaron Maller from Parallax team, and this series of videos will go over the features, functionality, and how to make use of the Parallax team door libraries. This demo was done in 2018, but all of the versions of the door libraries are the same. To start, we'll go over basic conventions so that you understand the naming strategy and how to know which families are used for what. To start, if we look in the project browser, in the sample file that has all of the doors loaded, you'll notice that a large number of the doors are prefixed with the phrase 08-door. There are also a series of doors that are prefixed with the phrase 08-door unit. You'll notice that basically these are copies of the same doors. So there is a regular single swinging door, and then there is a unit single swinging door. The difference between these two will be whether or not the majority of the parameters are set to instances or types. Both sets of doors may not be loaded into all of your projects, so consult your firm's internal BIM management staff for how they've implemented these door libraries. Typically, the unit doors will be used in highly repetitive areas like multifamily apartments and other such things, whereas the instance-based doors are better suited for core and shell and mainstream architectural detailing. So, in addition, you'll notice that all of the doors that are families the users actually place in their walls or curtain walls have the word door at the beginning. If you were to look through the rest of your project browser, you'll find that there are a large number of other doors in the project as well. There are door hardware families that have the prefix DRHW for door hardware at the front of them. These families should never be placed manually, as they are meant to be subcomponents of the doors themselves. Similarly, there are also door frame families that all start with the prefix FRM. You'll see a large number of them in the sample file because they've all been loaded. Users in projects should never be manually placing frames without first placing a door component and then selecting a frame. As a general rule of thumb, if the phrase 08-door is not listed at the beginning of the component, the user should never be manually placing it. A number of users will ask me, but I want to place just a door frame with no panel. There is actually a component for that that is called door opening frame optional. This component is basically a door opening that does not have a panel in it. And so to place a panel manually, the user should still be placing the component that says 08 door opening. They should not ever be manually placing a component that starts with FRM. If they do place these manually, they will not work correctly in your door schedules, and you'll have unexpected results for how they look and how they're controlled dimensionally. Similarly, all of the door panels are also components that will show up in your project browser prefixed with PNL. Similar to the door frames, these are all components that don't need to be or should not be placed manually by the project teams. They are meant to be used in the family type selectors in the components that say door themselves. If you were to go to the sample file that shipped with the door library, you'll also find a few other things that you may want to look at if they haven't already been implemented in your project template or in your current project. There will be 5 door schedules that we will go over in a later video, and there will also be a number of different filters that can be put into all of your view templates or all of your views, and we'll go over these in one of the later videos. These filters will all interact with the Parallax door library to do various things. There are filters that will color code doors based on fire rating. There is a filter that will help with automated door tagging. There is a filter that will get rid of door hardware if you choose not to show door hardware in any of your views. And there is also a filter that selects all of the 3D clearances that are placed in all Parallax components so that you can make the clearances transparent. If you're using any Parallax libraries and you're showing the clearances in any of your drawings, you will absolutely want that filter to be visible and set to 100% transparent. Otherwise, those 3D clearances will actually obscure your elements. So this is the general introduction to the doors. You'll also discover that the door library is set up such that each different door action, meaning each different door that operates in a different function, is its own component. So if you were to look through the library, you would find that there is a single door that is swinging and it is wall hosted. There they are. There is also what we would call a double acting door, and because that is a different action, it will actually be a different door. This one is not the double acting door, this is the connecting door that has two panels, one on each side. So as you go through the list, you will find door single sliding surface. You will find a door single pivot swing that pivots on top and bottom mounted hinges. You'll find overhead sectional doors. You'll find double acting doors. And you'll find things like bifold doors and telescoping doors. So for each different action that the doors need to make, including whether or not it is a single door or a double door, for instance here is a single bifold, and then there is also a double bifold, those are all different components. Then the nested frames and panels that you saw in the project browser are all selected within these door components. So if we go to the door single swing, you'll then find that in its instance parameters, and some of these doors have these as type parameters, we'll explain that a little later, there is then a frame selector and there is then a panel selector. Changing these values inside these selectors will then change that modeled door to show you the particular door panel that's been selected. Similarly, if you take that door and change the frame parameter to show the particular frame of your choosing, you will see the frames change as well. Later videos in this series will go over what all of the different options are for the rest of the doors. So this should get you started on making use of the Parallax door library.